Hey guys, so today I want to talk with you about the new artifacts that we got with the Flames of the Nether DLC, and the new 4 artifacts that we got are the Power Shaker, the Thundering Quiver, the Spin Blade and the Blast Fungus. Now, you guys probably wonder why this video is so late. The reason for that is that I just wanted to give you an impression of these items at the higher power level, so at around 240 to 250, as I wanted you guys to know how these items play in the actual late game, and not just when you look at them when the DLC came out, because this is probably not going to help very much. So now let's get right into it. Now the very first item that I want to talk with you about is the Power Shaker, and as you can see it adds quite a whole lot of damage. 1.5 million damage, that is actually a lot. If we have a look at our cursed eggs here, that is already on power 251, which is the new maximum power that we can have. And you can see that this weapon deals about 750,000 damage per hit. This little artifact adds actually a lot of damage, and it is AoE damage. As you can see, we hit this dummy here, we do quite some damage with our cursed eggs, but now if we use the Power Shaker as well, you can see even with the committed proc on our weapon, we do the same damage again that our weapon damage does. And it is with the committed bonus, keep that in mind. This is actually really a lot of damage. So for testing this thing out in real combat, we will head to the Basalt Deltas on Apocalypse plus 25, as this is just the maximum power level that we can test stuff on, and I really like this new map. And you can see if we hit the enemies here, they start to become one-shots, and because we have the cursed eggs, they even explode after death, which adds another layer of damage. That actually helps clearing the mobs pretty fast, but then we get the issue with the cooldown. Like, the cooldown is pretty high considering that we hit pretty fast. Now, just in case you guys didn't notice, they changed the artifact cooldown. The baked enchantment on our armors has 40% cooldown reduction, and the enchantment now goes to up to 38% cooldown reduction. So you can actually get away with a lot less cooldown reduction than before, especially because with the new power level increases, the duration of most artifacts goes up by a lot. And the next item I want to talk with you about is the Blast Fungus. Now if we look at its damage, it's not that high actually, it's only 400,000, but it throws multiple fungi in the air when using it, and the cooldown is pretty low. So I'd say, let's have a look at it. Now if we use it, you can see we are throwing 5 fungi in the air, and those all explode and deal the damage once. So if you get lucky, you can hit a single enemy multiple times with it and deal quite a lot of damage. So let's have a look at this one again, and here we go. Now you can see that you have to time the activation of it properly, otherwise you will not be hitting too much enemies. Considering its damage, it's pretty fine, but I wouldn't go so far to say it is one of the better ones. I don't think that this item is consistent enough. Like, if I use it like this, you can see it didn't kill anything, and the added as you throw them at your current position and usually you're walking away. I mean, you can wait for it to be used like this. Like, there's a group of enchanted enemies and you just throw them in. Like, yeah, that kind of works. But I'm thinking that there are just more efficient ways to deal with these packs instead of using the Blast Fungi. So the Blast Fungi, in my option, while it is a fun item to use and play around with, I don't think it is good enough to be used. So next we have the Spin Blade. Now, I think that this one is quite fun to use. If you look at it, the damage isn't too high, only about 600,000, but it has a 5-second cooldown, and if we use it, we are throwing it in the direction we are facing at, and it comes back to us. So it actually deals the damage twice, which is quite nice. Now there's a little bit to consider with this item, but I will go over that as we use it in combat. So one of the main issues is that if you are below your enemy, you can't hit them. As the blade just travels straight through the stairs here, I'm unable to deal any damage to them whatsoever. Now there's also the issue that if I'm facing this direction and I want to hit them, it doesn't throw the blade where I'm targeting at. I basically have to aim with the bow or with a melee attack and then throw the blade to actually hit them. And as I said, there's still the issue with the stairs, so you can't fight upstairs. You always have to be on the same level as the enemy, or they are below your level. Like if you stand here and they hit them, that works. And as you already saw, there's the issue that the blade doesn't deal that much damage. Now there is the idea to pair it with a lot of cooldown reduction. As you can see on this Ember robe, I have 40% cooldown reduction and 2 times the 38% cooldown reduction from the armor, and then just spam out these blades. Now if you throw it out and it comes back, the cooldown only starts as soon as you get the weapon back. As long as it's out there, it doesn't start the cooldown. And this is why even with the highest cooldown reduction, you can't spam those out. So while you have a lot of poke damage with this one and you don't really need to get yourself in danger, it is a very inefficient way of playing. And I don't think that this item is worth it to make a whole build around it. And for the last one, we're having the Thundering Quiver. Now the Thundering Quiver works just like the Flame Quiver. You use it and you get a bunch of arrows that in this case do electric damage. So let's just quickly equip this here. You shoot your arrows, and as you can see, you deal some additional electrical damage here. And the damage isn't too low, but you can also see that it has a long cooldown. So just like the Flaming Quiver, we have about 30 seconds cooldown. And now we are back in the Basalt Delta, and let's have a look at the item. So if we hit an enemy, you can see that the chain lightning hits multiple enemies. So the arrow actually creates a lightning that bounces off to other enemies. So if we hit these cubes now, you can see that the chain lightning actually hits multiple enemies here. But as you saw, the damage of the Thundering Quiver was just not enough to really make a difference there. Now there's one more thing that I want to talk with you about, and this is a new enchantment for a bow, which is cooldown shot. When you attack with a charged shot, artifact cooldowns are decreased. Now I was really lucky to find a mechanical bow that has roll charge, and for the last shot I have infinity. It's probably even better with multi-shot or something that adds more damage. But yeah, this is just what I got. I upgraded it anyways, because this combination is really powerful. So you use your quiver, you shoot your electrical arrows whenever you want to do them. Infinity helps you a little bit to have more of them, and as soon as the cooldown starts, you roll and spam click your normal arrows. Now what you can do is combine it with another quiver. So you shoot out your arrows, use the other quiver, roll, and shoot out the Flaming Quiver. Then you do this with the Lightning Quiver again, and so you can rotate between the two quivers. So as you can see, this is pretty strong, and the cooldown shot is a new enchantment that we just got with the new DLC, and I'm saying that this is very strong, especially with the quivers. I think they always suffered from their long cooldown. Now with this you can make it work, and I'm thinking that instead of infinity, just get multi-shot on here. It would probably be better because you just hit more enemies, you just multiply your damage output by doing so. With infinity it's still nice, but I would prefer something else. Now you could also go with Winter's Touch and just roll, because if you have a burst bowstring on there, you will hit multiple enemies anyways. You would not need roll charge on it anymore, because whenever you roll with burst bowstring, you're firing charge shots anyways. So in the end, I'm thinking that the Power Shaker and the Thundering Quiver are the best artifacts that we got with the DLC. The Thundering Quiver though might only be good if used together with a Flaming Quiver and the cooldown shot enchantment. But anyways, I think that these combinations are really strong, and I'm looking forward to test them more out and maybe find some hidden gems here and there with some combinations. But anyways, this was all for today. I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!